Yes, from the Ed Laughlin Attorney at Law Studios here in Temple, 77 degrees outside. And this is Logic Nation. 4th of July, salute to service. Oh, such a political monstrosity. Oh, my goodness.
How dare he honor this country?
Trump talked about himself the whole time. No, he didn't. He honored our military. He honored our country. He didn't. There wasn't a Trump rally, as the media told us all week long, as they cried and moaned and, just, oh, it's going to be so terrible. And then after it was over with, CNN still had people on there saying, I hated it. That was terrible. So we found out one thing that we've all suspected, and I think, and Khan points this out all the time, and I think, he probably should get on here, too, with us in a little bit and talk about it, because this weekend, if you weren't watching this weekend shows you that the libs, the Democrats, the progressive socialists, and the media hate this country as it was founded.
Yeah.
They despise it. Can't stand it.
Scoured that entire speech. You might be able to find one instance, because I looked at it with a very critical ear, wondering, okay, what is the media looking for to spin? There was one instance in that entire 48 minutes, I believe it was 48-minute speech that Donald Trump gave, that could have even closely come to the point that this was about Trump. But that's not even, again, I was looking for.
If that's one thing that could have done it, can you imagine any other politician giving that speech?
And it was just a passing comment, and so, but that was about the greatness of this country.
He did mention Betsy Ross, and that was a direct shot at Colin Kaepernick and the anti-American crowd, and the Raul Castros and the Beto O'Rourke's, who went right along with that because they wanted some spotlight shown on them. But the thing that irritates the most is that we do all this, and the Betsy Ross flags, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but it's been pointed out now all over the internet that at Obama's second inauguration, the Betsy Ross flags were very big behind him.
And you said it right.
That's a big deal of labor. I mean, if that's a big deal of racism, then if those flags stand for racism, what were they doing behind the first black president?
But you said it right. You said it in the plural. There were two Betsy Ross flags behind President Obama at both of his inaugurations.
But the main thing to take away from the 4th of July salute to service, other than it was well done, and they had 7 flyovers during the course of the 48 minutes.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. One
course,
for each service, and then an extra one.
And if you take away that part where the tanks all shot the Antifa crowd, that didn't happen either. But,
or how those tanks were tearing up the Washington street. Oh wait, no, they didn't move.
No, they were sitting there. Anyways, all this media stuff. The main thrust is the media was wrong again, as usual.
Yeah,
they lie, and then they backtrack a little bit, and then they start they find a new lie. They find something else. As of today, they've got something else to work with. Immigration detention centers, still concentration camps, according to the Democratic Party.
Got to go after something.
Well, Rashid Tlaib was on television yesterday saying they're concentration camps. They are. They're just, and she says that with no evidence, and of course, nobody actually asks her a follow-up for the most part. They just let it lie. And when I say let it lie, I mean L-I-E, not
yes.
They need to give this up, too.
The Democrats are flailing right now because Trump's numbers are up. The economy is still up.
Oh, the jobless rate is way, it's nearly nothing now.
Yep.
So, and that came out over the weekend as well, or Friday, I guess. But that was over the long weekend. Julian Castro, who can't speak Spanish, says border agents are desensitized and don't treat illegals as human beings. You want to talk about somebody that's really thrashing around. As he and Beto come out pro Colin Kaepernick on the Nike thing against the Betsy Ross flag over the weekend, and then he doubles down on the illegals aren't treated like humans.
Well, you've got Beto and others actually helping illegal immigrants skirt the immigration process.
Oh, Cory Booker.
Yes.
And there's also a representative from Texas that's doing the same thing. Except she's just sending her staff. Booker actually crossed the border and I think brought some people over, didn't he?
He brought a couple people with him.
So now Cory Booker is not only Spartacus, but he's Spartacus Coyote. Spartacus Coyote. Isn't that nice? And it's illegal. Why do we not have these people locked up? We're running news stories about this, that this woman from Texas helped these people across the border. We've got Cory Booker making a big deal out of it. Look how compassionate he is. Why aren't they in jail?
Good question.
We pass these laws and we don't enforce them. There's tons of laws that are on the books, and they make them new ones all the time. And then they make the new ones, they tell everybody what they are, and it makes everybody feel good, I guess, in some cases. Most of the time when they pass laws, it doesn't make me feel good. The less laws, the better, as far as I'm concerned, because it just becomes control. But then they pick out which laws they're going to apply.
And Tlaib is out there talking about the fact that she voted against this funding package because the system is broke, and the agents are telling me that the system is broken. Throwing money at the problem isn't going to fix it. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but who's supposed to fix the system then? You, Tlaib.
Yeah, it's like
where's your bill?
It's just like when Obama would make speeches that, these terrible dark forces that you can't see behind the curtain are blocking him from doing everything he wanted to do. There's always a straw man involved. Tlaib, AOC, and Omar, and the other one, I forget what her name is, because she's like she's like the third, she's like the girl in like the Bangles or something that was there all the time, but you just didn't know her name, Mm-hmm. That was an all-girl group. It was like a girl in the Go-Go's. Okay, you just didn't know her name. You knew everybody else's name, but you didn't know her. That's that fourth vote that went against that bill in the House that Nancy got so upset about. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Lieutenant Colonel Allen West for the Texas GOP chair.
Yeah, I'm still processing that, but I've asked Alan to come on the show, and I've also invited him to our Tea Party meetings.
Yeah, well, I hope he does that. Hey, we need to turn the Texas GOP around somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's the guy.
Yep,
I'm willing to listen to him for sure because I think a lot of him. And the billionaire Jeffrey Epstein has been arrested for again running human trafficking with young girls. And everybody's talking about, well, Trump knew him. Trump had dinner with him many, many times back when they were billionaire pals back up there. And Trump knew him. So we got him. We got Trump now. Epstein, yeah. Never mind, Bill Clinton went out to Epstein's Lolita Island with him, I don't know how many times, according to reports. But no, they've got Trump now because Epstein got arrested. 866-895-6442. That kind of sets the table. Back in a moment.
Need to sell your house? Most agents will put a sign in the ground, post it, and pray. My name is Ryan Smith of the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team and Keller Williams Realty. My business is based on getting top dollar for my clients. I believe in that so much that I will put my money where my mouth is. I will guarantee to sell your house in 90 days or less, or I'll sell it for free. I've developed an exclusive marketing system proven to get you up to 18% more money. If you want to know how I do it, I'll send you a copy of my marketing plan for free. 254-213-5335. Using my system, I recently sold a house for David and Janice in Temple's Bentwood subdivision for more than they even thought their house was worth. My system gets full price offers, multiple offers, and bidding wars. That means you make the most money. Don't take chances with your equity. No obligation. There's no commitments. You're not happy? I'll let you out of the program. There's literally no reason not to call us. 254-213-5335. That's 254-213-5335. We are the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team. Call us today and start packing tomorrow.
Social Security Disability Attorney Ed Laughlin.
Are you disabled and unable to work? Have you been denied your Social Security disability benefits? Well, tell the federal government that you mean business. Call me toll-free at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule an immediate appointment with me in Killeen, Temple, or Waco. I'll appeal your denial and work hard to get you the benefits that you deserve. That's 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You'll feel a lot better.
If you're an advertiser, think about this.
Your prospects are bombarded with messages Some, like TV commercials, can be fun. Some, like pop-ups and spam, are annoying.
And in a crowded media environment, it's important that you stand out.
That's why we seek out great sponsors with products and services that make your life better.
We feature your message in a radio show that's upfront, never background, and we talk about you on air.
It's all about branding and keeping your product top of mind.
So call or email us today.
Be part of the Logic Nation radio family.
I was visiting my 75-year-old aunt the other day when her phone rang.
Hello? It's you again.
She seemed
right?
nervous.
Well, I don't think I need any more life insurance.
The caller was doing a great job keeping my aunt on the line.
Okay, so you need my credit card number?
My aunt went to get her purse, so I decided that I would ask a few questions. Well, as soon as I introduced myself, the caller hung up.
McGruff the Crime Dog here. Recognizing the signs of fraud can be difficult for older people. Often they're very trusting and consider it impolite to hang up. The National Crime Prevention Council wants to educate seniors so that these scams can be reported to local law enforcement agencies.
Financial fraud can include identity theft, fake check and wire transfer scams, investment and credit card fraud, and online charitable solicitations. Unfortunately, only 1 in 5 of these crimes are reported. To learn more, go to www.ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the U.S. Department of Justice.
Welcome back into Logic Nation for Monday, 8th of July. How many of you are tired this morning?
I am tired.
Yeah, after the weekend, you think you get that 4-day weekend and you're sitting there going, I'll sleep it off on Sunday. It's everything's great, right? And then no, something else comes up and you've got something else going on. So no, it doesn't work that way. But either that or the dog wakes you up, like mine did yesterday morning. All right, let's go to the phones. Con and Temple, you're our first on Logic Nation this morning.
Well, good morning, boys and girls.
Hey.
I just want to say that it's decision time in America. We the people, need to decide whose side we're on. Are we on the side of freedom and liberty and the good things that's made America the greatest country in the history of the world? Or are we on the side of the destruction forces, the Democrat Party and the socialists and the communists and those people that hate America? Whose side are we on, folks?
Well, I think we all know which side we're on, but I wish some of them would pay attention and figure out that they're killing the country. People that aren't, either there's some people that don't pay attention, and then there's others that are paying attention, but they're drinking the Democrat Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they are Kool-Aid drinkers. That's a good way to put it. They just, they just watch the funny stuff on TV or the idiots, on talk shows that don't know what they're talking about. But my point is, when are we going to figure out that there ain't but two sides? There's God and there's Satan. There's freedom and there's tyranny. There is prosperity and there is total government domination. So what do we want? Whose side do we want to be on? I know what side I'm on.
Yeah, I'm on the side of those people that
pretty often.
I'm on the side of those people that stood out there in the rain and watched this salute to service on July 4th.
You know what's funny is the liberals were on Twitter anyway, of course, going nuts about the fact that it was raining and look, even God doesn't want this thing to happen. And yet when Trump took the stage, it stopped raining.
Yes.
So if we're going to use that logic,
then what about California?
Right.
California's only had 2 earthquakes in the last few days.
Gosh, it's had more than that, just 2 big ones, but it's had over 1,000 earthquakes.
So using that logic, if the Democrats want to use that logic, then California's in a heck of a lot more hurt than the rest of the country, apparently.
Well, we better be a student of history now. There's some other societies like Sodom and Gomorrah and Rome and places like that did exactly the same thing that California is doing as we speak. And it didn't end too well for them folks. Now, it's the last I checked, I think God is still alive and well. And he might get tired of California, and he might get tired of America. I would just as soon not see that.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sorry for those people that lost property, and there's a lot of people that got hurt in both of those earthquakes out there. But Gavin Newsom, their governor, sits around and goes, "Well, we're going to have a study done, or we're going to look into this." So Joe Biden's going to cure cancer, and Gavin Newsom's going to stop earthquakes.
Well, just how deep how deep a hole is he going to dig to study the earthquake situation? The moron. Earthquakes are like volcanoes. They holler about climate change. When one volcano goes off, it puts more stuff in the atmosphere than all the cars that was ever created. So, how are we going to stop volcanoes from going off? How are we going to stop earthquakes? Well,
why? We're going to rejoin the Paris Accords and give a bunch of money to third world countries. That's how we stop it, according to the Democrats.
Yeah, if we cripple industry in the United States, that'll really make Red China control their emissions.
Sure it will.
Yeah, good luck at that. Of course, the Democrats are willing to destroy our economy in America over some myth about the end of the world because of climate change. But how many of our listening public out there falls for that trash?
Well, I'd worry about not the listeners here at this show, but I would worry more about their kids or their grandkids that are getting fed it in school constantly.
Well, that too, and it really worries me what we're doing to our children in school. It reminds me of the Nazis and the Nazi brown shirts. Adolf Hitler said, "Give me the youth of a nation, and I'll give you the nation."
Mm-hmm.
So we are giving our youth over to the socialist, communist, Democrat Party.
Well, we talked about Antifa last week, and what are they? For the most part, they're a group of very young, white, elite kids that want to go around and think they're bad. They think they're tough.
Well, and what was an eye-opener was the chief of police in the city where Mayor Pete is from.
In the South Bend?
The chief of police said that they put a page on GoFundMe to help the cop that killed that fellow that was trying to cut him with a knife. Anyway, they took the page down, and GoFundMe wouldn't have it. But GoFundMe still has a page up to help Antifa. Now, what does that tell you? Whose side are they on?
To say,
whose side are we on for not demanding a correction to that?
That's a good point. No, the media, the social media people, and the computer folks, for the most part, are. I don't even know if they're all raging liberals. It's just that they don't get picked on as much as long as they continue to be liberals, because I think most of them are cowards and they don't want to stand up for what's right. And that's what all these billionaires do. That's why they give so much money. I don't know that Bill Gates is actually a raging liberal. Now, he talks it sometimes.
Well, he donates that way.
Yeah, well, that's one. But do they attack him? No.
No.
He's as big a member of corporate America as anybody. They never attack him.
Yeah, we're on Saturday, by the way, in Austin at noon. There's a Defend Free Speech rally, and we found out that Antifa and the Red Guards, which is a communist both of them are communist organizations, are supposed to be there. So we're trying to get a lot of patriots down to the Capitol on Saturday because Antifa is going to shut down free speech of conservatives at the Capitol. But that's at noon.
That'll be interesting.
How many people are going to go, CJ? And how many people are willing to make any effort of any kind to stop Antifa? And I promise you're not going to stop Antifa until the folks doing the hollering, screaming, and shoving and shouting gets a bloody nose. And I don't want to encourage that, but you have got to stand up to them, and they have got to feel the pain of what they're doing.
Well,
if they don't suffer the consequences, they're going to keep doing it.
Well, you're right, and the average citizen, that's one answer. The other thing is that we pay a lot of money for these cities. I mean, in Austin, they pay a lot of tax money for their police department, and I don't care what the mayor says. The police ought to do what's right, and if those kids get out of line, they ought to be taken off and thrown into jail. I don't care if it looks bad for the city of Austin or Travis County or anywhere else. If they do it in Temple, I don't care. If they do it up in Hewitt, where I live, I pay taxes. I expect the police officers to step in. I don't care if the mayor says you've got a stand down order. The heck with that. Stand down, nothing. Who gets to decide that? That's why that kid, the Asian gay reporter that's conservative in Portland, got his head cracked open because the stupid mayor, and he's supposedly chief of police too, said, no, don't touch him. Just leave him alone. And they had no fear.
Well, there's an old saying that there's nothing like making them feel the pain to make them see the light.
Yeah.
And that is so true now. If Antifa continues to do that, and they continue to not feel the pain of their actions, then they're going to continue and they're going to encourage young people to do the same thing they're doing. Because you teach by example. If they can get out there and beat up a reporter, they're setting the example for other communists, whatever you want to call them, to do the same thing. And that's how America will be destroyed.
Like I say, it amazes me that these government agencies that get tax money will just stand down and let, well, we're not going to get into that because that'll be bad PR. Oh, yeah, because the Austin American-Statesman's going to write bad things about you. They already do.
And that's one of the things we had to learn really quick when we first got started, when I became an activist, is we initially didn't really understand the media. Then we realized we had to pay attention to the media. And then we realized it doesn't matter what we do, that the media, no matter how well you plan things and how well you prepare and how well you try to craft the narrative, the media, if you're a conservative, especially a gun-owning conservative, will skew anything to make you look bad. It doesn't matter.
And the sooner that the GOP at all levels, but especially in Washington and Austin, get over the fact that they're never going to get good publicity. Never, ever, ever, ever are they going to get. So why kiss the media's behind?
And the other thing is, I think this salute to America that Trump did was actually emblematic of how crappy the media is, because had Obama given that speech, that exact same speech, word for word, it would have been how presidential, how much he loves America, because nothing in that speech was about Trump. Like I said, you can possibly find one instance where it might possibly be about Trump, but that speech was about loving America, and the media trashed him for it. They would not have done that to Obama.
Yep. Tom, we got to run to the break, but we appreciate it.
Y'all be careful.
We'll do it. Thanks. 866-895-6442 if you want to jump on with us this morning. Here's some from President Trump's patriotic speech on American greatness coming up. This is Logic Nation.
At Logic Nation, our power is in our callers. In fact, Pat's on the phone. Pat, welcome to Logic Nation. What's on your mind today?
I get that you're the Logic Nation, but what about love, peace, and harmony, man? Why don't you ever talk about these issues?
We try to keep our listeners informed about local issues that matter to them, both locally here in the great state of Texas and in our nation.
You talk an awful lot about freedom and constitutional rights, but what about my right to express my emotions like love, peace, and harmony? What about my right to not be offended by what you're saying?
Well, Pat, you've gotten off the logic train, and now you're boarding the Emotional Express. That's a high-speed rail to nowhere. Here at Logic Nation, irrational emotional instability has no place in logical discussion.
But I need constant reassurance that my emotional stability will be coddled and my opinions force-fed to me.
Listen to Logic Nation Monday through Friday from 8 to 11 a.m., right before Rush, right here on KTEM, where logic is never derailed by emotion.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
For almost 2 centuries, Americans have enjoyed the valuable privileges of freedom. Now, freedom needs each American to dedicate himself to its preservation. We must not allow our liberties to be endangered by neglect of our duties as citizens. During this year of rededication, join with your fellow Americans in reaffirming the principles on which this country is founded and the safeguarding of those principles. Make it your business to see that federal, state, and local governments are conducted honestly. Help to maintain the good morale of your sons and daughters in the armed forces. Learn the facts about all candidates and issues. Then vote for the one you believe in. Make the most of every minute on your job. Produce as much as you can, and thus increase our military and economic strength. Work for better schools and a better community. Guard your American heritage of freedom. It needs you.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
On this day, 243 years ago, our founding fathers pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to declare independence and defend our God-given rights. We are proudly joined tonight by heroes from each branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, including 3 recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor. That same American spirit that emboldened our founders has kept us strong throughout our history. To this day, that spirit runs through the veins of every American patriot. It lives on in each and every one of you here today. It is the spirit, daring and defiance, excellence and adventure, courage and confidence, loyalty and love that built this country into the most exceptional nation in the history of the world. And our nation is stronger today than it ever was before. It is its strongest now. As long as we remember our great history, as long as we never, ever stop fighting for a better future, then there will be nothing that America cannot do.
Geez, how narcissistic can he be?
That was terrible, wasn't it?
Talking about America like that.
Man, he might have mentioned God and, and good things.
And how we're a great country.
And I bet he never mentioned a big-time person of a minority. Oh, wait, he said in 1963, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. stood here on these very steps and called on our nation to live out the true meaning of its creed and let freedom ring for every citizen in our land. He also talked about George Washington, John Adams, Betsy Ross, Frederick Douglass. You might remember him. Harriet Tubman, Amelia Earhart, Douglas MacArthur, Dwight Eisenhower, Jackie Robinson, John Glenn. So those were all names that he dropped in that speech, and hey, it was. I thought it was pretty doggone awesome from watching it. Now, I didn't understand. They had a parade before that, and I was here when the parade started. I was here in the studio with the Best Of on Thursday, and when the parade started, Fox and Friends showed a little bit of it, but then they went right back to Fox and Friends, and then they show a little bit more of it, and then they go back.
Yeah,
and then they go back. Now, as far as I know, the rest of them didn't even show that much.
It was hard to find. It was because we tried to watch it as well, and it was we ended up. You know where we found the parade?
C-SPAN.
OAN.
Oh, really? OAN. Okay. Well, that's a good place to go.
One American News covered it.
It's getting to be the best place to go.
Yes,
actually, unless you're wanting the good opinions on Fox in the evening, and the morning show on Fox is good. Fox and Friends. Yeah. But other than that, anything in between those things, not so great.
You know what was great was my son-in-law's grandmother
Mm-hmm.
is a huge OAN fan.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so funny that I didn't think this little old lady even knew what OAN was.
Yeah.
And here we're having a great conversation about OAN and conservative media.
Well, it just depends on what cable or what service your provider does for DirecTV, because our DirecTV or Dish Network or whatever, if you can find OAN, it's still not that accessible, but it is out there, and it's a good service. I've watched it quite a few times. Let's go to Raymond in Temple. Hey, Raymond, how are you this morning?
Just fine, sir. I was just going to make a brief comment. You know, all of these people that are so proud of this President Obama, I just want to just let everybody know he was not the first black president that was ever elected. He was the first interracial president. His mother was white. His father was black. It is what it is, people. That's just the way it is. And concerning this Betsy Ross, you know, at that time, that was the first founder of the country as far as making the flag, and that's how it was back then on the flag. It don't have anything to do with slavery or nothing. That's just part of history of the United States. And concerning President Trump, I watched his speech, and he made a great speech, and he honored every armed forces that's out there. And as far as saying this was all about him, man, you know, them people are crazy as hell, man. You have a good day.
Thanks, Raymond. Yeah, the predictions of the media, it's just like back, if Trump gets elected, the stock market will crash and die and burn, and we'll all be back in the Depression. Well, that worked out really well, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Mark in Belton. Hey, Mark.
Hey, good morning, David. How are you, sir?
Good.
Hey, two things real quick. I was going to mention the Fox issue, and I'll get back to that. But you know, we have to remember, guys, that we're not going to convince the other side. There'll be very, very few people that will change their mind about President Trump or even about conservative ideals. As I told CJ, we're beating the dead horse here because I've been doing this, guy, since 1988. I've had my own talk shows. I've told y'all before. In the early 90s, was on for 3 years. We're talking the same issues today I was talking then with very little difference.
That's because the Democrats are still using the same playbook.
Exactly. They've been using the same playbook since the 63 Great Society, you know, Lyndon Johnson debacle that started this whole mess to begin with that they talked about in the late 50s that we just weren't paying attention until it got too late. Now they're too entrenched, I think, to get rid of most of them. We have to keep trying, but, you know, trying to convince these folks is a dead issue. The main reason for my call, though, was the Fox News. I tell you what, Fox Radio is even worse than Fox Television. But if you're just watching Fox and think you're getting the truth, folks, you better think again.
No, and I agree with you. Fox News Radio, depends on who's hosting that top of the hour or the bottom of the hour.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark.
And that's why if you look at my Twitter and who I follow, you would not know if I'm left or right because I'm following liberals, conservatives. It doesn't matter.
I have some of that on my Facebook page. Back in a moment, 866-895-6442.
Ladies and gentlemen, spring has sprung, and it's time for spring cleaning, and your headquarters for that is Smith Supply, located at 5202 Midway Drive in Temple, Texas. They have everything to clean anything, residential or commercial. From inside your house to outside at your pool, Smith Supply can run a complete computerized water analysis for free. Then the experts at Smith Supply can recommend the chemicals that will get your pool looking great for your family and your friends this spring and summer. They can also keep your pool in outstanding condition all season long. Plus, they sell pool equipment. With everything to clean anything, Smith Supply can help your inside cleaning as well. Don't forget, they deliver within 150 miles of Temple and can ship anywhere in Texas. So, get your house and pool in spring cleaning shape and save money on high-quality products. SmithSupply.com or call 254-773-3592. That's 254-773-3592 or online at smithsupply.com. Since 1961, Smith Supply.
Divorce attorney Ed Laughlin. Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Mike Moolah here to tell you to wrap your head around success and talk straight. Cliches don't solve problems. It's a win-win situation when you hire me to speak to your business. I will cause a paradigm shift in your profitability by showing you visionary ways to circle back and think outside the box. The Moolah Plan is where the rubber meets the road as we ballpark success as a team and go back and sharpen our pencils to right-size your business plan. I'll show you how to manage the optics of changing through creative destruction and downsizing while making customer service our number one priority. Our employees are of utmost importance, so let's square the circle and at the end of the day, take the lipstick off the pig and strategize the perfect storm. Mike Moolah's Moolah Plan, an agent of change. So don't leave any money on the table. Hire me to speak to your business today. Remember, hope is not a strategy.
The Army returned to Europe and embarked upon a great crusade. With knives and rifles in hand, the Rangers scaled the cliffs of Normandy. The 101st Airborne leapt into the danger from above, illuminated only by enemy flares, explosions, and burning aircraft. They threw back the Nazi Empire with lightning of their own from the turrets of Sherman tanks and the barrels of the M1 rifle. In the darkness of the Battle of the Bulge, with Nazis on every side, one soldier is reported to have said, "They've got us surrounded again, the poor bastards." Outnumbered American warriors fought through the bunkers of Pork Chop Hill and held the line of civilization in Korea. In the elephant grass of Vietnam, the 1st Cavalry made its stand amid a forest consumed in flame with enemies at every single turn. The Army brought America's righteous fury down to al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and cleared the bloodthirsty killers from their caves. They liberated Fallujah and Mosul and helped liberate and obliterate the ISIS caliphate just recently in Syria, 100% gone. Through centuries, our soldiers have always pointed toward home, proclaiming, "This we'll defend." They live by the creed of Douglas MacArthur: in war, there is no substitute for victory. They are the greatest soldiers on earth.
Donald Trump from his salute to the service speech. And again, didn't hear a lot of political talk in that, did you? Sounded to me like all he was doing was that was the segment where he was praising the Army, and we felt like that was probably we don't want to play the whole speech back, but we felt like that there might be a few people out there that would enjoy listening to his salute to the Army again. 866-895-6442. I'm David Hodges along with C.J. Grisham. We're from the Ed Laughlin Attorney at Law Studios here in Temple. This is Logic Nation. 78 degrees outside in Temple. And the Democrats really, you want to talk about having a bad week. First of all, we've got tons of gaffes by Joe Biden, their front runner. Then there was Nike that decided to pull their American-themed sneakers featuring a Betsy Ross flag because Colin Kaepernick reached out and said that it was an offensive symbol citing the broad area of slavery. And as many pointed out on Twitter and all over social media, the controversial flag, served as a partial backdrop during former President Barack Obama's second inauguration. There's only 2 of them flying at Barack Obama's second inauguration. So I don't remember Kaepernick or anybody else having a stroke about the Betsy Ross flag at that point. The city of Charlottesville has decided it will no longer recognize the birth of founding father and author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, Instead, the city council voted to replace the April 13th celebrations with Liberation and Freedom Day, which recognizes the emancipation of black slaves. George Washington High School. Last month, George Washington High School announced plans to remove an offensive mural of the nation's first president, with one speaker calling it a visual offense. Many critics of the mural have condemned its depiction of slave Americans. Now the school is just about going to remove the mural altogether and just paint over George Washington, even though the name of the school is George Washington. A New York Times opinion piece tweeted out a controversial video 2 days before Independence Day, which made an argument against American greatness and status as the shining light on the hill. Beto O'Rourke says that the Betsy Ross flag is really important to take into account the impression that kind of symbol will make for many of our fellow Americans. Yeah, because it's an American flag. How terrible, Beto, Patty, Irishman. Harvard University professor Lawrence Tribe over the weekend remarked on two tanks in the mall that for preparation ahead of the salute to America, observing what he considered a resemblance to the days before Tiananmen Square in China. Okay. Lord. Let's see what else. College professors, in addition to Lawrence Tribe, taking to social media to express outrage over the salute to America. Brief sampling. Which world dictator does this describe? He orders a military parade to glorify himself, has a daughter and son-in-law to negotiate with other nations, places unwanted children in cages, has his own propaganda TV channel, and cozies up to other dictators. That's Robert Reich. Marianne Williamson, the lesser-known Democrat who's said that watching Army tanks being hauled through D.C. for Trump's July 4th celebration is heartbreaking and repugnant. She must stay in the debates. She really must stay in the debates. If nothing else, she's Oprah's guru, and I just like the way she does not talk like the other candidates. She's always very sensitive and loving. It's kind of like Pat on our little parody that we run. Pete Buttigieg accused the Trump administration of using the military as props. And let's see, Rob Reiner, Stephen King, Bette Midler, the usual. Hillary Clinton said that the event was designed to feed what she implies is Trump's need to show his patriotism. And, of course, they had the flag burners that were out there during the parade that burnt the American flag, which I guess is their First Amendment right, but I don't particularly care. I don't know about you. Back in a moment on Logic Nation.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Excuse me, I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes,
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B. Console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C. Take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D. Help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on the Logic Nation. Job creation reignited in June. Non-farm payrolls rose 224,000, and unemployment picking up to 3.7%. Jobs are being created. Good sign for the economy. Markets have kind of forgot about China for a little bit. Nobody's. I mean, very few people in this country are being hurt by the tariffs at this point, and they're coming back to the table. But again, and it's hard. And the reason I mentioned the jobs report is not only is it good news for Trump, but also it's very good news for Trump because with the economy going the way it is, it's hard to get a president turned out. I don't know how Obama got reelected in 2008. After watching Mitt Romney, though, in the years afterwards, I'm kind of mixed feelings about that 2008 deal. But the point is, the economy's booming, and hey, it's really hard to get rid of a sitting president when the economy's doing well.
Yeah.
Or at least that's been the historic truth. Who knows, though? Like I say, when the economy was going bad under Obama, that's usually when we get rid of a president. But no, not so much. Trump has congratulated the women's soccer team on winning the World Cup. President Trump congratulated the anti-U.S. women's soccer team for the most part. Seems like they are.
The anti-U.S.
Yeah, you're wrapped in red, white, and blue. The American taxpayers are paying for part of your stuff, and yet you want to sit there and gripe and drop F-bombs about President Trump. Very nice. Megan Rapinoe.
Well, and not only that, when they won after they won the World Cup, they were doing this little celebration, and one of the players had the American flag in her hand, and Megan kind of like shoved the American flag out of her way. They started doing some weird dance, and the player dropped the American flag on the ground and started dancing with her. Thankfully, one of the other players came up from behind and grabbed the flag from off the ground and picked it up.
Some of those young ladies actually
have class.
Megan Rapinoe does not speak for the entire team.
No.
But there are a couple of high-profile ladies on that team that are very anti-American, even though they're wrapped in the colors of the flag and their jerseys say USA on them.
Yeah, but kudos to the player who did come and swipe up that flag from off the ground.
Now, Trump had before the final round, he told them to finish the job. We haven't invited Megan or the team, but I'm now inviting the team, win or lose, to come to the White House. So there's Trump back at you, Megan.
Yep.
Now you can make
Balls
even
in your court now.
Now you can make even a bigger witch of yourself. Okay. Megan should never disrespect our country, the White House, or our flag, especially so much has been done for her and the team. Be proud of the flag you wear. The USA is doing great, said Trump. And, of course, Megan Rapinoe, she's not getting paid enough, folks. Do you watch a lot of women's soccer? I didn't think so. But Megan Rapinoe wants to, make money like the men do on the men's side, and the men's soccer is a lot more popular than women's soccer. Sorry.
I think everyone is ready for this conversation to move to the next step. I think we're done with the are we worth it? Should we have equal pay? Is it, is the markets the same? Yada, yada. Everyone's done with that. I mean, we put on, as all players, I'm saying, every player at this World Cup, put on the most incredible show that you could ever ask for. We can't do anything more.
It's her speaking. It's her pure speaking ability that gives her such, gravitas. She's a media darling. I don't understand that.
what's funny is the media and the left, what they're not telling you is that there is a pay disparity, but the pay disparity is against the men.
Yeah.
Because
that's in for World Cup
World Cup
games.
Yeah. Because the men's World Cup made $4 billion last time. $4 billion with a B. The men got 9% of that in pay. The women's World Cup made almost $73 million. And those players got 13%. So this is about profits.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that the Women's Cup does not bring in the viewers. Now, it did this time because it was such I think because of all the controversy surrounding it. But they won.
When America wins.
And it was a historic this was their fourth win, which is historic.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the women got 13% of the profits, while the men only got 9% of the profits for theirs.
Yeah.
So are they paid more? Yeah. But they also make,
more.
Gosh, like 20 times more.
Yeah. In
income.
Speaking of making money, Marvel movie director Josh Whedon celebrated the 4th of July, saying that President Trump is planning to steal the 2020 presidential election by armed force with the backing of illegal militias. That'd be you.
Oh, my gosh.
Tom Holland, Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, says Marvel films need gay Spider-Man and fewer straight white guys. Hollywood's worldwide box office is down 6%. You wonder why, don't you? After those two stories, don't you wonder why? Doesn't that shock you?
Man, why does Tom Holland have to be a moron?
I don't know. Maybe he just wants to kiss a guy. I like it. I don't know. 866-895-6442. Back after the news.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. You hear it every time you finish a meal and never feel anything. But if we were able to associate this sound with a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural response from you. Save the food. Why are we doing this, you may ask? Save the food. Because this ad is trying to change your after-meal behavior through brainwashing. Because food waste costs the average family $1,500 a year. Save the food, cha-ching, and $1,500 extra bucks is like getting a pay raise. Save the food, cha-ching, you're promoted, which could pay for your child's braces. Save the food, cha-ching, you're promoted.
Check out my braces.
So when you hear this sound, rethink your behavior. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit SaveTheFood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into Logic Nation. On your Monday, David Hodges, C.J. Grisham from the Ed Laughlin Attorney at Law Studios. 79 degrees already. Going to be another warm one out there. Chance of rain later on, I think. Taking your phone calls at 866-895-6442. Plus, we're all over social media as well.
Yeah, let's look for Logic Nation Radio everywhere you go. You can go to logicnation.us for direct links to all of our social media, but just look for Logic Nation Radio, except for Twitter, where we are Logic Nation USA, and we're also live streaming on our YouTube channel every morning.
So Donald Trump had the salute to service that when we've pretty much covered all of that in the last hour. So we're going to move on to immigration here in just a moment. But before that, I want to tell you that Donald Trump, as you may have noticed, is not perfect. and his speechwriters aren't either, because this was the one part, and CJ caught this before I did. I wasn't paying attention, I guess, at that point. I'm not hanging on every word or anything, because I had it on the television there at the house. And anyway, so Trump, listen, see if you can find the flaw in this right here.
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory.
Did you hear it? I wonder if there was a prompter problem, because that sounded a little bit more like a prompter problem when he's talking about the Revolutionary War, and then he talks about freeing the airports. There's no way that happened in the Revolutionary War.
So I've listened to this several times, and look, somebody, because he was reading from the prompter, I've watched.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't just listen to this. I watched the video, and Trump was not going off script. This was on the prompter. So somebody has extremely terrible writing because of the way that this was written. And so it was written to make, and it made Trump sound like an idiot because he's talking about securing airports. But if you listen to it in the full context, what I think the speechwriter was trying to do is talk about what the Army does in combat.
Right.
And I don't know, and if they were, then they were wrong. But I don't know if the writers were trying to link the Continental Congress to the Fort McHenry thing, which, by the way, Fort McHenry that he was talking about, that's the War of 1812.
Yeah.
That's when the
that's what he was
Star
talking
Spangled...
about at the end when he was talking about the rocket's red glare. That was the War of 1812.
Right, but the way that it was written and the way that the media, of course, is jumping all over Trump is that this whole thing was about the Continental Congress of the 1770s.
Well, he did all. I mean, in every segment when he was doing things, he'd start at the first and tell about some of the great accomplishments and some of the great things.
Yeah.
And then he'd move down to the next war or the next service act that was historically heroic. And I like to say it. There's something he had slipped, the teleprompter slipped, or the writers just tried to cram too much in there.
But if you can play this one more time, I want people to listen to the three things, because if you listen to the first one, because he talks about.
I'm going to go back about halfway into the first one.
Yeah, because hang on, I'll tell you when. Go ahead.
Okay.
The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown.
Okay, right here.
That's the Revolutionary War.
Yeah. So here's where, listen to especially the first part. The first thing, because he's going to talk about three things here. He's going to talk about what sounds like air, and then he kind of trails off a little bit, and then he talks about ramming the ramparts, and then he talks about the airports. I think even Trump got confused here. He's like, what the heck am I reading? Because listen to how he says this.
Yeah, because he kind of stops because he's planning on talking about the War of 1812 now.
Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry.
Yeah, I know.
So if you listen to that first one, he's like, hey, wait a minute. And he kind of like trails off, and he says something. Almost sounds like he says airports there too.
Yeah.
And then he says ram the ramparts. And I'm watching this, and I'm trying to pick up clues. I think even Trump is like, what the heck am I reading?
Yeah,
But
it could be. I mean, typos happen on teleprompters. If you've never seen them before, if you never read off of them, or you ever run one.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes it doesn't come out the way it was written originally. But anyway,
he says this during the Army salute,
right.
And it is the mission of the Army in combat to secure airports. And so I think this was just terrible writing. I think the writers stuck this in. I don't think they did a proper transition, or maybe in the editing they didn't like reread it to make sure that the editing didn't make it sound goofy.
I think that's.
But either way, it made Trump sound goofy, and he said it, and he's got to own that. And it was stupid.
Like I say, that was the only thing that you could actually say that didn't run perfectly. I thought at the salute to service, so it was neat.
Yeah,
I told you.
And I'm not trying to defend a dumb statement, but if you watch it and you listen to it, just that section, I think you can see that this was just poor editing.
Well, it's better than all 57 states.
Yeah, right.
It's better than our Marine Corps.
Oh gosh, he still says that. He still says Marine Corps. A bunch of dead Marines. Is that what he's talking about? He's always talking about I didn't realize we have a Marine Corps. I guess that's for the zombie apocalypse.
RPS Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are our fighters in the zombie apocalypse, the Marine Corps.
That'll be good. 866-895-6442. Okay, so there we're fair and balanced. We did at least try to dissect what Trump was trying to say there about airports in the War of 1812. All right, let's go down to the border. Migrant centers that have come under criticism by the media are going to be open to visits by journalism and journalists. Where are they going to find these journalists? You can get about 3 or 4 of them. Maybe Catherine Herridge from Fox will go down there. But I don't know where they're going to find all the journalists to take them. U.S. President Donald Trump foreshadowed on Sunday. He said that the U.S. Customs Border Protection Facility in Clint, Texas, that the New York Times and the El Paso Times have recently covered. The two outlets Saturday published an article alleging the Texas migrant shelter was filled with hundreds of children wearing filthy clothing and packed into disease-ridden cells. Trump calls that a hoax. So does the rest of the administration. Reporters in Morristown, New Jersey, Trump was speaking to. He says, what we're going to do is start showing some of the detention centers to the press. I want the press to go in and see them. And we're just going to let the press go in. They're crowded because people came up. Now, thanks to Mexico, it's slowing down greatly, but it's still crowded. But we want to have the press go in and see. Now, last week, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez attacked the facilities and posted on Twitter that people are drinking out of toilets and officers are laughing in front of members of Congress. Well, I'll tell you what, if Ocasio-Cortez came and started screaming at me and you, like she got out of the car screaming at the border agents, I'd laugh at her too.
Yep.
And again, we've already explained that they're not drinking out of the toilet. There is a potable water drinking fountain, basically, that's on top of the toilet.
If that's the case, I was forced to drink out of a toilet in Olmos Park.
When we come back,
where's my AOC?
Do you really want one? When we come back, lots more Democrats and a lot more talk about the border.
Social Security Disability Attorney Ed Laughlin.
Are you disabled and unable to work? Have you been denied your Social Security disability benefits? Well, tell the federal government that you mean business. Call me toll-free at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule an immediate appointment with me in Killeen, Temple, or Waco. I'll appeal your denial and work hard to get you the benefits that you deserve. That's 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You'll feel a lot better.
Here at Logic Nation, we're here to inform you, entertain you, and engage you.
We're also here to keep you informed about great products and services. Our goal is to seek out great sponsors for two major reasons.
The first reason is that we need sponsors to ensure that we can continue bringing you cutting-edge commentary, sound bites, and callers.
Second, we love telling you about companies that make your life better.
That's logical.
So make your company a part of our radio family.
At logicnation.us. Today.
You hear the Logic Nation on our great radio station in this area, but there are other places to find us as well.
To be a caller on the show, the Logic line is 866-895-6442 or 866-89-LOGIC.
If you'd like to join our radio family as a sponsor, email me, David Hodges, at david@logicnation.us or executive producer Luann Anderson at la@logicnation.us.
Find us on Facebook, too. Like our new Logic Nation page to keep up with the articles and videos that we use on the air. Also find show content on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
The official show site is logicnation.us. Go there for information about the show and to access our official live stream.
Our great affiliates are streaming as well, so look for us on their websites.
Most important, catch us on this radio station you're enjoying right now. Tune in and be logical.
The Logic Nation is in touch. Hope you'll be too.
I'm a veteran. We hit a mine in Vietnam. When I came home, I didn't know where to turn.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory's been never giving up hope. My wife is always there to remind me we have a life to live.
DAV provides a lifetime of support, helping veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I am a veteran, but after I got out, I spent 2 years alone and homeless.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans so they can reach victories great and small.
My victory was finding the support to get back on my feet. Now I'm getting things right with my family.
I finally admitted, with my PTSD, I wasn't doing well.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
Now I wish I'd found DAV sooner. I am a veteran. My victory is just enjoying each day.
Help support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Welcome back into Logic Nation. 866-895-6442, the number to call. And let us go to Big Time AJ in Houston. Hey, Big Timer.
Big Time, what's going on, baby? Hey, I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. And after watching that great parade my man in the White House did, boy, you couldn't beat that with a slapstick. Good God Almighty.
No, that was good.
Hey, you know I ramble on a Monday.
Well, you got plenty to ramble about. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that went on in that 4-day weekend.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what should I. Oh, well, I think where I'm gonna go first with that. I told you about Michelle Obama. Keep your eyes open. That's all I got to say. Cause ain't nobody in that Democrat deal gonna be able to run. And she comes on stage and says when she looked out there and all she seen was really white folks when Trump got inaugurated. I'm like, really, Michelle? Are you serious about that? Come on. What? I mean, for her to even come on stage to even do that against the president of the United States after they leave office in a mess. Come on, really? Oh my God! And the worst part about it, we was fine with the race relations, getting it together until they walked their happy butts into that White House.
Mm-hmm.
It shows. And then they talking about the economy. Hello. Barack Obama ain't had nothing to do with this with this economy that we got going on right now. And I'm like, people, tell me, what did he do? What did he do? And they can't tell me.
Hey, I keep hearing from every one of the Democratic hopefuls how poor the economy is and how the middle class and working people are starving. Well, maybe they wouldn't be starving if they weren't taxed so much. And he cut the taxes, but he still didn't do them enough. And what do they want to do? They want to raise taxes to help working class Americans. Figure that one out.
I asked Mark, I say, well, tell me what did Obama do to start this economy? After blaming Bush for 8 years, and the Democrats had the last 2 years of Bush and turned their back and stabbed Bush in the back. Bush just wasn't a Trump to call him out on it. I say, tell me what did Obama do? Tell me how come he got a Nobel Peace Prize in 3 months? Tell me. He can't tell me nothing.
No, you can't.
I can run down the line of what Trump did in less than 3 years, and you talking about Trump can't carry Obama.
Hey. Now you got to say this for Obama. He made gay marriage okay. He and Joe Biden did that. That's one thing. It was a great accomplishment.
He made gay marriage great again.
Yes, he did. And when everybody know that, well, I'm gonna leave that as that.
Well, that didn't affect many people actually, but whatever. I mean, but that's one thing he can point to. I guess. Oh, he got Osama.
Wait a minute. And he got Osama, but he just happened to have been in the White House when Bush already and them had picked it out already. Nobody don't tell nobody that. See, they already had pinpoint. Remember waterboarding? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
You remember how bad? Oh, but wait a minute.
Oh, he also nearly cleared Gitmo out and put all those terrorists back in play. I mean, there's another grand accomplishment.
Oh, come on! And now my idiots on Meet the Idiots. Todd, he must have a picture of Trump in his bedroom every time he wake up in the morning. Oh, Trump! I mean, this guy is a ludicrous. And then Martha was on for Stepastopoulos, and she had that Muslim woman on there.
That Rashid Tlaib.
They're all over there. And I'm like, wait a minute. They wanted to give them mattresses, and y'all messed around and protested for them giving them mattresses. Now, which is it? Come on. Hey, the thing of it is, all of them should be sent back home. I'm sorry. I mean, we love people, but what we see and what we got here is Obama and them. They said Obama, he extradited people. Yeah, extradited them to other cities and stuff. He got them all into other cities and got rid of the evidence when he did it, because he got rid of the ICE papers that he was supposed to turn in. And then I'm like, come on, people. These people need to go back. This is a joke. And Democrats, they running on this, guys. Hey, this is a joke what we watching, what the Democrats doing. But my question is, I ramble, where is the Republicans at?
That's a good question.
Why are they not out stopping this stuff?
Amen.
Yep, that's true.
That's been one of my biggest frustrations with the Republican Party is that we are way too often on the defensive instead of the offensive, and we need to start fighting first instead of fighting back.
Well, we don't even fight back. I mean, Trump's a counterpuncher.
Yeah,
but he'll fight.
And they tell him every time you need to stop saying what he. No, he don't, because he's saying what we want to say, but the media cut us out from saying it. And the reason I'm on Twitter is because I'm bashing the liberals that's on there, because Twitter ain't worth a dog. Facebook ain't worth a dog. They with the terrorists, really. And then I'm like, okay, Biden, you telling us that, it wasn't no collusion with you and Obama when y'all, Iran, this wouldn't have happened. And I went, wait a minute. Guys, I'm sorry to scream and holler.
Yeah, you're fine.
You know how I am. This happened under y'all watch. What are y'all, where is the media to ask the hard question of these idiots?
Well, that's the only place you're going to, I mean, like I say, over the weekend, Biden was at some place and said, or maybe it was on one of the talk shows, I can't remember which, but he said that look at what there's evidence that the Russians mess with foreign elections, and look at this one place, look at this place, look at this place. Well, that would not have happened under Barack and I's administration. Well, who was president during the time that Trump has been accused of colluding with the Russians? Who was president then? Yeah,
Barack Hussein Obama.
And who was vice president?
Wait, Biden do have amnesia, evidently, because
he's got dementia, I'm afraid.
He had 8 years of doing Iran, doing China, doing all. Oh, and then Michelle Obama walks up there and be talking about how good they was and what they did, and then use the race game. And I'm like, guys, the reason this country divided is because they put you rats up there in the White House. Yeah, I said it. They put you rats up there. And now look at the country.
Well,
and another police officer got killed.
Yeah, I saw that in
Barack
Georgia.
Obama. It's his fault because all this started killing our police like they are now, worse than ever, because of, what did he say? The police acted stupidly, having Black Lives Matter to the White House, and this Antifa. And then wait, he started ISIS. And then they want Trump to get into a war. I'm so glad Trump is so smart now. But now if Iran do the dumb crap, now we might have to go and do something this time.
We were talking about earthquakes in California earlier. There's been an earthquake in Iran too, and so that's not gonna help their economy either.
I think we need to drop a few earthquakes in Iran.
Well, maybe so,
but wait, real quick. Where is the global warming people? Where is the
We're the fracking people.
You think they could have stopped that earthquake?
No.
And the California governor now kissing up to Trump. Yeah, we off on other things, but we agree on this. You idiot! Your state is going bum-started, and you sitting around with your head up your butt. Oh,
he took him. What was 2 months ago that he took a week's tour of South America to see where the illegals are coming from. Like that's the job of the governor of California.
Well, we ain't got to go there to see where they coming from. You just go to his border and see they coming all across the
That's right. You just go out to the border and talk to them once they come over.
Oh man, what a!
Oh, hey, before you go, I got one more accomplishment from the Obama administration, and that was Michelle Obama's delicious school food.
Oh, you thought that they threw in the garbage can?
Yeah. That was a big accomplishment for her.
And then she talking about, her and her friends, they come to the Ethics Festival, and really, oh my God, they are a joke to this country. It makes me sick to think about. They put them in there for 8 years. Unbelievable. But keep your eyes on it. They might put her up for that running.
I don't know. I don't know. I think she's happy just staying on the outside and going to on talk shows and trashing Republicans and Trump and white people in general.
Well, hey, I don't trust the dirty rats as far as I can see the front of my nose, and that's not far.
Well, good news is we've got another Democrat coming into the race.
Oh my God!
Billionaire Tom Steyer, who gave all sorts of money to the Democrats in the past. He's decided he doesn't like the field, and he's thinking about jumping in. And he is the global warming mogul. He's unhinged about global warming.
And in other good news, I think around 1:30 today, Eric Swalwell is holding a press conference and may actually drop out of the race. So you got Steyer in, Swalwell out.
That's not a fair trade.
When the rest of them going to leave? That's what I want to know. When the rest of them going to get out? Because, the rich ain't giving Democrats no money because of the fact they want to tax the rich, the people that give them the job. Oh, ain't that funny? Guys,
that's something else. Well, as always, AJ, enjoyed the visit. We'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, Big Daddy. Or maybe before.
Yeah, maybe before. That'll be fine. Big Time AJ from Houston. Logic Nation returns in just a moment.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin. Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
You wouldn't steal from a department store, would you? Shoplifting doesn't only hurt the store owners, it puts every employee's job in jeopardy. And if everyone shoplifted, it would weaken local economies to the point of unsustainability. The same principle applies to Social Security fraud. People who receive more benefits than they should or illegally get benefits by lying to Social Security aren't just making the system insecure, they're literally stealing from honest taxpayers. Anyone can report fraud anonymously. You can learn more about Social Security's relentless anti-fraud efforts at www.socialsecurity.gov/anti-fraud-facts. We aggressively investigate and pursue prosecution of those who try to cheat and steal from the system. Shoplifting and stealing from your neighbors is morally and ethically wrong. The same goes for stealing from Social Security. If you suspect someone is committing Social Security fraud, report it online at http://oig.ssa.gov/report or call the Social Security Fraud Hotline at 1-800-269-0271.
It can begin with an email, a phone call, a flyer in the mail, or perhaps a misleading website. Loan modification scams. They come in all shapes and sizes and under different names. Loan rescue firms, counseling services, mortgage consultants, sometimes posing as a legitimate mortgage company willing to help you modify your loan and get caught up with your payments. But beware, these are highly trained con artists looking to steal your home. They often know who you are, where you live, and because it's public record, know if you are on the brink of foreclosure. You're not alone, however. The National Crime Prevention Council and U.S. Department of Justice have partnered to help homeowners identify and steer clear of these scam artists.
McGruff the Crime Dog here. Protect your home and safeguard your finances. It only takes a little time to become informed. Start by finding a free legitimate housing counselor today.
Take the first step. Visit www.ncpc.org/mortgage-fraud. That's ncpc.org/mortgage-fraud. This message is from the National Crime Prevention Council and U.S. Department of Justice.
A popular Christmas movie features the story of a dejected businessman who sees life as if he had never been born. He discovers that, despite all his failures, he has brought joy and life to countless people. Each person has so much potential for good, and nowhere is this potential greater than with an unborn child. This Christmas and always, please work to preserve the wonder of life for the unborn and their mothers. This has been a perspective on life from National Right to Life. For more information, visit our website at nrlc.org.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the Ed Laughlin Attorney at Law Studios in Temple. Dave and CJ with you this morning on Logic Nation. 80 degrees and the sun shining. A little high cloudiness out there. Pretty nice day, it looks like. Yesterday on ABC's This Week, Representative Rashida Tlaib, the third of the three amigos, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and Rashid Tlaib.
I don't know if I call them the three amigos. It's more like the Larry Moe and Curly.
Yeah, okay. You're probably right. She was on with Martha Raddatz, who needs, anytime she asks a question, it sounds like she's going to cry because she lives in Trump America. She's so scared, constantly scared.
Poor Martha.
And, of course, it was a holiday weekend, so Stephanopoulos, or Stephanopoulos, as Big Time calls him, it wasn't there. So here is she was talking about her trip down to the border with AOC and the girls.
What did they say on the ground? Ask a CPP agent. That's the one thing. I can talk to the secretary and he can say throw more money at a broken system, at an inhumane system. 3 agents took me aside away from my colleagues and said, more money is not going to fix this, that they were not trained to separate children, that they don't want to separate 2-year-olds away from their mothers. That's not what they were trained for, or that's not what they signed up for in their service to our country. They signed up to protect the border, not to separate children, not to put people in cages. They all said this is a broken system.
You want to take it or you want me to?
Well, so once again, we have a Democrat, socialist, communist here that is talking about the results of a broken system instead of how to fix a broken system. They need the money because the system is broken right now. Now, Trump has also asked for money, which, by the way, the Democrats blocked, to be able to stop this problem and address the current crisis, which is by building a border wall and increasing our patrols. But no, they didn't want to do that. They just want to provide beds. Well, that's the problem. Yes, the Border Patrol is right. Money is not going to solve the problem, but it's going to deal with the issue as it is right now. But the issue is never going to go away if we don't build a wall and improve our immigration system, including asylum. It's just nonsense that they obfuscate and try to ignore the real problem, which is Democrats want, I don't care what they say, Democrats want open borders.
Oh, of course they do. And there is a sect of the Republican Party that wants open borders as well.
Right.
Because their donors want it, and they want their fat pockets filled with money.
And as long as politicians like Tlaib are out there basically saying, hey, everyone is welcome here, and you've got states and cities who are saying, oh, you can come here, we're a sanctuary, the problem's not going to get any better.
You had a whole debate the other night where everybody, all the front runners except Elizabeth Warren were there, and we know how she feels too, and they said, do you want to supply medical healthcare for illegal aliens? Every one of them raised their hand. Every dadgum one of them.
Illegals. Non-Americans.
Yeah. So that tells you exactly where they are on this thing. She said, she goes, we were all there. You had Congressman Castro. All of us were there, and we saw what we saw. Some of them haven't seen their children since they're being here. What you need to know, the mere touch, even me holding the hand broke one of them down into tears. Yeah, because he probably is afraid you're a terrorist. But no, that was a joke. That was probably not a nice joke either. But
well, she was a Democrat, so she is a terrorist.
Yeah, to a certain degree, she's a domestic terrorist. But hey, Senator Jeff Merkel was on the Sunday shows, and he says, let's get rid of this myth that Democrats want open borders.
Well, let's get rid of the myth that the Democrats are arguing for open borders. We've supported border security, and that's just that's a red herring thrown in there.
That's exactly what they want.
What?
That's exactly what they want. They want open borders because they want amnesty for everyone, have the citizenship, come in here and work without any type of oversight whatsoever. Yeah.
Is Julian Castro going to learn Spanish if they come? Because I'm going to have to, apparently. You've got it made, but I'm not,
It's getting to that point. It's getting to that point. And
wait a minute. Uno más cerveza, por favor, señorita.
That's one. You need that and donde está el baño?
El baño. Yeah. I can survive. I know those things. I'll be okay. But the rest, if you don't know even those little phrases, then you're in trouble. Because the way they're doing it right now, if the Democrats have their way, but listen, this guy is so full of it. He makes a baby's diaper in the middle of the night look clean. If you know what I mean.
Well, let's get rid of the myth that the Democrats are arguing for open borders. We've supported border security, and that's just that's a red herring thrown in there.
When did they support border security? Let's see. They supported border security, or they talked about border security when Obama was president. They talked about it a little bit when Bush was president even. But the minute Trump said he wanted to build a wall and get some logical conclusions to this stuff, no, we're totally against that. But they're not for open borders.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you say so? Meanwhile, if they're not for open borders, how come we've got Democratic congresswomen and senators helping illegals sneak in from Mexico. Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, she's from Texas. She's secretly sending her staff to Mexico to find and coach migrants who are trying to enter the U.S. and is instructing them how to exploit loopholes for the game of asylum, according to multiple U.S. Custom and Border Protection agents.
Can you imagine what she would say if I went around explaining to illegals how to exploit loopholes in our gun laws?
Yeah, she'd have a problem. 866-895-6442. Back to tell you some more in a moment.
Need to sell your house? Most agents will put a sign in the ground, post it, and pray. My name is Ryan Smith of the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team and Keller Williams Realty, and I work hard to get my clients top dollar for their house. I'm so confident in my system that I will guarantee to sell your house in 90 days or less at a price you agree with, or I'll sell it for free. I've developed an exclusive marketing system proven to get you up to 18% more money. It doesn't cost anything to see what I can do for you. 254-213-5335. Using my system, I recently sold a house in Windmill Farms for David and Kim before their house even hit the market. I only get paid when you get results. Don't leave money on the table. Call me. No long-term contracts, no obligation. You're not happy, you change your mind, fire me. It is that easy. There's literally no reason not to call. 254-213-5335. That's 254-213-5335. We are the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team. Call us today and start packing tomorrow.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas. And our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
Looking for a news source that gets you the news 12 to 18 hours after it happened? Sure you are. That's why you need the Morning Times Post. What better than walking out to your driveway and picking up a crisp, unless it's raining, feature paper? Nothing. The Morning Times Post. All the news we think you should know. Plus, our nameless liberal editorial board will help you know how to think about the news. Love Barack Obama? Scared of terrible earth-ending climate change? Voting for Hillary? You'll love the Morning Times Post opinion page. And wait, there's more. You need a subscription to also get our features. Want features on feeding the homeless? We got that. Will the marina be built right? I don't know, but you'll find out on our front page. Plus sports, comics, horoscopes. Where else you going to get that? Get your subscription today at our highest prices yet. The Morning Times Post. Good enough news source at $18.90. Good enough for you now.
Well, you know I can be found sitting alone.
Welcome back into Logic Nation. Again, Democratic Representative Veronica Escobar from Texas sending staff secretly into Mexico to find and coach migrants who are trying to enter the U.S. illegally. The Washington Examiner, which is actually a decent paper in Washington, it reports that according to the National Border Patrol's Council El Paso chapter and several Border Patrol agents, Escobar's staff is trying to find migrants that have been returned from El Paso, Texas, back to Mexico, and under the Remain in Mexico policy. But now she has got her staff going in there trying to sneak them across the border instead of waiting for the U.S. law to allow the procedure to follow through the way we expect it to.
So she wants to go find these criminals and bring them back.
Let them back. Yeah, let them back in. A senior official shared evidence supporting the claims with the Examiner. What we believe is happening is Veronica Escobar's office is going to basically second-guess and obstruct work already done by the Border Patrol. Now, The Democrats, according to the Examiner, a DHS official noted the obvious that the Democrats are furious that these migrants are not allowed to await their court dates in the U.S., where they have an opportunity to disappear and slip into the interior, never to be seen again. Hey, if they're on the Mexican side, we don't take their kids away from them. Fact is, we don't take their kids away from them much here either, but not for very long. But they're not. Mark Metcalf, a former federal immigration judge, told the Washington Examiner that a criminal case could be brought against Escobar if she's found to be involved in the alleged scheme. Makes you wonder where the DOJ is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Barr, are you out there? Let's see. Then this Fareed Zakari probably ended his time at CNN because he ran a segment yesterday about the problems with the asylum system in the United States, and he says that this is on CNN now, that President Donald Trump is right about the situation and that fraud is rampant in the system, and the system is being abused and not for the purposes it was created for. That's on CNN for Fareed Zakaria.
He's done.
He's dead. He's toast.
He's done.
He is toast.
CNN's already looking for a replacement.
Once Zucker finds out that he's doing that, he's gone.
He's going to go the way of Juan Williams now.
Okay, we've told you about Veronica Escobar from Texas. She's a congresswoman that's doing this. Now, she's not going over herself. She's sending her staff over. Meanwhile, Cory Booker.
What's she afraid of?
I don't know. Here's Spartacus Coyote. He went into Mexico Wednesday to help escort 5 female asylum seekers to the United States. 2020 presidential hopeful crossed the El Paso, Texas port of entry into Juarez with immigration rights attorneys and advocates to get 5 women fleeing domestic violence admitted to the United States. These women have really horrific stories. Well, Corey, we've got a lot of women in our country that have some horrific stories too. What are you going to do for them? You're going to help them with lawyers? You're going to help them? No, you're not.
Trump steps into North Korea. Booker steps into Mexico.
Well, Beto went to Mexico.
Yeah.
And not only did have a campaign rally in
Beto
Mexico.
was visiting his homeland.
Yeah. Yeah, the green fields when his iris eyes are smiling.
Yes.
And Juarez. Anyway, those women were victims of sexual assault and labor trafficking in Juarez. And anyway, Booker got together with these lawyers and went over and brought them into our country. So Cory Booker now has another nickname. Like I say, Spartacus Coyote, because coyotes bring the illegal aliens in. So Cory Spartacus Coyote Booker. He tries every time around to just, he's just grasping for straws. Look at me, how I'm saving women. Like Spartacus.
I'm at the bottom of the heap, but here, maybe I can do something. What kind of stunt can I pull?
Booker's the second Democratic presidential candidate to visit Juarez, as we said. Former Texas Representative Beto Patty Robert Francis O'Rourke visited the border city Sunday to draw attention to the plight of immigrants. No, he didn't. He did not do it for the immigrants. Anybody that believes he did it for the immigrants or that Cory Booker did that for the immigrants or the illegals is crazy. They did it to raise their profile because they're both losing in the Democrat presidential race right now. So, don't write that. Who wrote this? Fox News. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Democrat Representative Joaquin Castro. Joaquin, he's actually still in Congress. He commented on ProPublica that allegedly current and former Border Patrol agents have a secret Facebook group that featured jokes about the death of migrants and throwing burritos at the members of Congress who are visiting a Texas detention center. Well, that is apparently true because some of the border agents got no, it wasn't. I take that back. It's not the border agents. That's a different story. I'm mixing my stories up. There was a bunch of officers in Dallas who were messing around on their social media.
Uh-oh.
And they got caught. And now a bunch of them are suspended.
And they're already 600 cops short up there.
I know. But Joaquin says the Border Patrol agents are desensitized to the point of being dangerous to the illegals. Well, he said migrants, but we know what he's talking about.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi. I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Well, before I left my campsite, I was putting out my fire, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear showed up and hugged me?
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it. Drowned it again and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. He likes it when people correctly put out their campfires. He's pretty big on wildfire prevention. He's just letting you know you did good with a hug. He's a hugger.
I just got a bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
All right, I'm going to let you go now. I've got a lot of ranger stuff to do. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into Logic Nation. We wrap things up the 9 o'clock hour. Anyway. So Joaquin Castro is reading ProPublica. And according to the to that particular, is it a website or is it a newspaper? It used to be a newspaper,
It's
right?
a website now.
Okay, I thought it was. But the report that alleged current and former Border Patrol agents have a secret Facebook group that features jokes about the deaths of migrants and throwing burritos at members of Congress who are visiting the Texas detention facility. Well, if it's their Facebook page and they're running a private little club on Facebook, who cares?
Well, what's interesting is that a lot of the media and the left isn't talking about here is even ProPublica or the whoever the IG was that looked into this. Out of, I think there are 9,000 people in this group, and only about 10 of them were found to have potentially violated ICE or CBP policies.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a group of 9,000 people, and 10 of them are agents that have violated any policies. I mean, that's saying something.
Well, according to ProPublica, that many border agents and former agents are members of this Facebook group where they've said despicable things, allegedly that there's now an investigation going on. Okay. Again, they shouldn't be joking about the migrants being killed or something like that. I agree, but again, if it's their private Facebook page, it's none of the employer's damn business, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, and I know I don't know how it is like the military, but the military is what you do outside the military affects you in the military.
Yeah.
And I know there's some conduct unbecoming type stuff that I'm sure the CBP probably wants to protect.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's true.
But the bottom line is that people are going to be This is just political correctness run amok. That's all it really is.
Well, Castro's down there saying that basically we need to fire a bunch of border agents. Heck, we need to hire more unless they decide to, he and his party decided to build a wall.
Yeah,
but that's not going to happen. But another thing too, and that goes back to what Tlaib and AOC were saying about the Border Patrol agents being so, ugly to them. I mean, we're members of Congress. You should bow down and kiss our shoes, kneel before me. I am a congressperson. I'm really getting tired of Congress people thinking that they're so dadgum special, because you're not. You got the votes. Yeah, good for you, but you're supposed to actually represent the people. It's not all about how great you are. Now, I will say that Trump did tell him the other day that it was him that got himself elected, which is kind of right, but kind of wrong. But you take that into context, they ask him about Russia collusion, and that's what he said. The Russians didn't help me get elected. You know who got me elected? I got me elected.
Right.
So, I mean, in context, it doesn't sound as bad. But if you take it out of context, like CNN did, it makes it sound a lot worse. 8% of Democrats say the migrant crisis is solely caused by a huge number of migrants who are trying to cross the border. Let me say that again. 8% of Democrats say the migration crisis is solely caused by the huge number of migrants who are trying to cross the border. 8%? 81% of Democrats say there are either no crisis or blame the crisis on the federal government. Well, it's your party that's messing it up, that's holding things up to get some of this stopped. If you're a Democrat, I mean, geez, whiz. Only 70% of Democrats say the TV displayed migration of almost 800,000 men, women, and children into the United States counts as a crisis. Okay. In contrast, 35% of independents and 65% of Republicans solely blame the crisis on the migrant numbers. Roughly 7% of the GOP and independent response blame both migrant numbers and the government. Only 7%? How can we not blame the government for this? How can any thoughtful person, this is a CNN poll, incidentally, and they're going to protect the government at all costs because they love more government. But Texas Theater is donating a portion of ticket sales to immigrant legal fees. A movie theater in beautiful Austin, Texas, in Travis County, the People's Republic, have announced that they will donate a portion of their ticket sales to help with legal fees for immigrants through the month of July. Theater says it'll give customers the option of donating $1, $3, or $5 every time they come in and buy a movie ticket, and they purchase it on the website or using their mobile app. Every dollar raised will be matched and donated to the initiative to help with illegal immigrants' legal fees. Well, that's all well and dandy for the illegals and the lawyers, but I don't see how it's good for America or Texas.
Why aren't they paying for their coyote fees?
They are paying.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's the
why not just pay their coyotes directly to get them over here?
Well, yeah.
If you can afford to spend thousands of dollars to illegally come to this country, you can afford your own dang attorneys.
Spartacus Coyote will get you some legal help. I mean, he was doing that when he helped those women cross the border in his photo op. But he was only doing it to help these women. Right. All right. We are back after the news. At the top of the hour, we'll talk some Democratic politics and the gaffe machine that is Joe Biden.
I've been waiting so long. I know you've been wondering about me.
When you say you support the troops, do you mean it? Hi, this is Lou Diamond Phillips for the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Every day, more service members are coming home from combat. In many cases, they return to no job, no money, and a lifetime of stress. That's where the VFW steps in, providing emergency financial support with their Unmet Needs program.
Coming home. Come running up to me. There's nowhere else I'd rather be.
For over 100 years, no one has done more for veterans than the VFW.
Please help us help them by texting the word HERO to 90999 for a $10 donation. That's HERO to 90999.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh,
I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work. There's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Look, no one likes an awkward silence, but it can do a lot of good. So seize the awkward.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Reach out to a friend who might be struggling with their mental health. It doesn't matter how you ask. For more information, visit seizetheawkward.org.
Logic Nation continues on your Monday morning. 866-895-6442 is the number to call. I'm David Hodges, CJ Grisham here with you. We're broadcasting from the Ed Laughlin Attorney at Law Studios. 83 degrees with the sun here in Temple, Texas this morning. And we were talking about the immigration thing, and out in West Texas, we have a supposed Republican named Will Hurd who needs to go.
Yeah.
He's one of those that's, I mean, you talk about total rhino. You can't tell the difference between him and a Democrat. He and Bonin should get along grandly.
Oh, they're probably best friends.
Yeah, I would think so. But here's what he says about the border.
Chuck, that's absolutely a problem. The number of acting folks, are they willing to make tough decisions when we need to? And so, yes, there is a lack of trust between congressional Democrats and the executive branch, but that doesn't change the reality that we're dealing with right now. Facilities, people that are overwhelmed. Border Patrol they weren't trained in order to handle children like this. They weren't trained for the medical issues that they're seeing. They were trained to be in between our ports of entry and grab people and apprehend people that are coming into our country illegally.
Yeah, but that would be if we followed the law, Mr. Hurd, Representative Hurd, but we don't follow the law down on the border. And mostly it's because of people like you that don't do that, even though he's supposed to be a Republican. Very nice.
Well, and Hurd's one of the biggest problems down there. I think the guy's he's the only so-called Republican on the entire border.
Mm-hmm. So
from California to Texas.
So that's why he talks like a Democrat, I guess. So he can win friends and influence people. Let's go to Wally and Bruce Valetti. Wally, you're next.
Well, thank you. For one thing, I don't disagree with what Hurd said there. They're not trained for that, but he didn't offer solutions for it's the thing. And what I was called CJ about, and gets back into the solutions thing, and I told him I'm outside, so I can't go look at my computer, but in the Chronicle this morning, they had an article talking about the border. And in there was a Democrat senator, and I wish I could remember his name, that basically he put the blame on Trump for not bringing to Congress a bill that will gain bipartisan support. And what I told CJ was, wait a minute, I thought the Congress is supposed to legislate, create laws, and pass them. Either the president either signs them or vetoes them. So, it goes back to when they had a big snit because he's moving the money around and said, wait a minute, we're the ones that appropriate money. So,
Well, they don't do anything. They don't offer any solutions. From the House of Representatives, they sent that contingent down there to the detention centers last week, and all they wanted to do was gripe about the Border Patrol agents and how they weren't respected. And but they offered no reason or no offer of help or no offer of a solution to it.
That's true. And the Saturday Wall Street Journal had a very good editorial, and they blasted the Democrats and just called them out for, the fact that they have not provided funding and had ignored that there was a crisis. Now all of a sudden they're pointing at the president administration saying there's a problem. They did call out the administration for a couple of things, but basically they said it was the Democrats created this problem, and well, they didn't create it. Both sides created it, but that instead of offering solutions, they're just crying out. And we, all of us know, it's a lot easier to criticize than it is to try to come up with a solution.
Well, also, especially for the Democratic presidential hopefuls, it's they think that's a good thing for them. That's why Cory Booker and Beto are down there going across into Mexico, but to show the strife. And the only people that can save these people are the Democrats.
And I can't find that story, but it sounds like something that Kamala Harris or Cory Booker would say.
Yeah, because
it wasn't either one of them. It was like, I'm trying to remember, it's the second or third page of their front section. It was down towards the bottom. And if I was inside, I'd go look.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll take a look at it because if a senator said that the president needed to get a bill sent down, send them a bill. Basically, it's like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
You ever watched? Nobody watched Schoolhouse Rock. Apparently, that's in Congress, and they didn't know about "I'm Just a Bill." And if you remember that, I don't know. Maybe too old for some people.
3 branches of government, according to
That's
AOC.
right. That is right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Wally, for the call. Yeah, I'm Just a Bill. Remember those in between the cartoons? Well, you probably don't. You're younger than me, but they actually used to teach constitutional stuff in between cartoons on Saturday morning. Can you imagine if they did that now?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. Now, first of all, do they even show cartoons on the networks anymore? I don't think so. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that's not the way those things work. Of course, Joe Biden was at it again yesterday. He was with Chris Cuomo, so you know that the IQ in that room was very high indeed. And here's what he said about Putin and Russia, and just listen to it. You got to hear this to believe it.
Look at what's happening with Putin. While Putin is trying to undo our elections, he is undoing elections in Europe. Look what's happened in Hungary. Look what's happened in Poland. Look what's happened in Moldova. Look what's happening. You think that would have happened on my watch or Barack's watch? You can't answer that, but I promise you it wouldn't have, and it didn't. So
whoa, back up there, Buttercup. Whoa, Nelly. No. You don't get to have it both ways. You can't say that Russia interfered in our election, in the last presidential election, and then tell everybody that Obama and you would have stopped. It didn't happen in our, because Obama and Biden were in office at the time of the election. Trump and Hillary were fighting for it. But neither one of them were president at the time. So give me a break, Joe. I mean, and
didn't it really happen under
if it happened
his administration?
If it happened under his administration.
Wasn't the 2016 administration his administration?
It's just an outright stupidity. And of course, Chris Cuomo, did he follow up on that?
No, not at all. Not at all.
He had just got the deer in the headlights. Do you realize that Zucker, the guy that runs CNN, found this out over the weekend? I read somewhere that Cuomo is his guy. Anderson Cooper he likes. Wolf Blitzer has been on there forever. But the new star, the rising superstar at CNN, is Chris Cuomo, according to the guy that's run CNN into the ground. And that's racist because Don Lemon ought to be on there, there too, right?
That's racist and bigoted because he's gay and black.
It's a double whammy. That's right.
And sexist because he's a woman.
Is he? I don't know about that. Anyway. But yeah, he's look what's happening with Putin. Look what's happening in Hungary. Look what's happening in Poland. Look what's happening. You think that would happen on my watch or Barack's watch? You can't answer that, but I promise it wouldn't have, and it didn't. Okay, then we had a whole Mueller report for no reason. Why didn't you come out, Joe, and say, hey, wait a minute. We don't need the Mueller report. That didn't happen on Barack and I's watch. Not President Obama and I's watch, Barack and him, because he wants everybody to know that they're such good friends. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama turned down a chance to talk about Biden
Now, why would she do that?
I don't know. And so did Barack. He doesn't come out in support of Biden yet. But they're such good friends. 866-895-6442. Back in a moment.
Social Security disability attorney Ed Laughlin.
Are you disabled and unable to work? Have you been denied your Social Security disability benefits? Well, tell the federal government that you mean business. Call me toll-free at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule an immediate appointment with me in Killeen, Temple, or Waco. I'll appeal your denial and work hard to get you the benefits that you deserve. That's 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You'll feel a lot better.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas. And our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com. Here at Logic Nation, we're here to inform you, entertain you, and engage you.
We're also here to keep you informed about great products and services. Our goal is to seek out great sponsors for two major reasons.
The first reason is that we need sponsors to ensure that we can continue bringing you cutting-edge commentary, sound bites, and callers.
Second, we love telling you about companies that make your life better.
That's logical.
So make your company a part of our radio family.
At logicnation.us. Today.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online for like a year. She couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, at-risk teens, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you to store your firearm safely. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
So the earlier comment, I guess, was Friday night that Joe Biden said that would never happen on he and Barack's watch. So, you know, we wasted how many millions of dollars on the Mueller report because Joe Biden could have just told us no. Of course, he's also going to cure cancer, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, and
yeah, the irony of the whole thing is funny because the only reason that we're even talking about Russian collusion in the election and why Biden is talking about it is because there was Russian collusion in the election during Obama-Biden's term. They were the ones responsible for protecting that election. They failed.
If that's true, they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only proof that we have of the Russians even messing with the election is they bought some Facebook ads under some false names. So that's Zuckerberg's problem, not ours. Mm-hmm. Of course, Zuckerberg made money off of it.
But and again, I keep saying this over and over again, that if that's the collusion, was that Facebook was trying to influence voters, well, then the collusion was benefiting the Democrats. The problem is the Russians probably weren't intelligent enough to realize that we have an electoral system here. So even though Hillary got more votes than Trump did, which means that the Russian collusion so-called worked, if it influenced voters to vote for Clinton, it failed because it didn't take into account the Electoral College.
Yeah, like I say, I don't think there was any Russian collusion.
No, I don't.
At all. I know there wasn't any collusion. Maybe the Russians did try to mess with it a little bit, but I think they were more trying to be divisive and stir up.
Oh, yeah, I think they were just trying to destroy the country.
Yeah. Joe Biden was on State of the Union with host Jake Tapper, and he was asked how to beat Trump. Biden said, "I'd beat him by pointing out who I am and who he is and what we are for and what he is against. Well, that ought to work for you. Let's see. Trump's a multi-billionaire who has run successful businesses. He got into bankruptcy one time, built it right back up again through legal means. And then what has Joe Biden done? For the last 50 years, he's been in Washington, living off the government teat. So that's who I am, because I'm Scrappy Joe.
Yep.
Speaking of Scrappy Joe, he went on into the. First of all, let's finish this up. This is the divider in chief. He calls Trump, acting with racist policies, and moving to format hate. That is the only way to sustain himself. Where are these racial policies? If he's talking about illegal aliens, that's not racism. That's nationalism, and that's also our border. That they're committing acts of crime against us.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not racism. But that's the one they point to. They always point to that. And I'm still trying to find out. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I've got something else. Biden goes on because he's Scrappy Joe, tough. Lived in Delaware for the last 40-plus years, and lived in Washington most of the time. He's had the house in Delaware. He goes, I'm looking forward to this, man. You walk behind me in the debate. Come here, man. You know me too well. The idea that I'd be intimidated by Donald Trump, he's the bully that I knew my whole life. He's the bully I've always stood up to. He's the bully who used to make fun when I would stutter. Then I smacked him in the mouth. So this is the second time Joe Biden has threatened physical violence against the President of the United States. First of all, Sleepy Joe can barely get a speech out. Yeah. I mean, the only time he gets excited is when there's a woman standing in front of him that he can sniff her hair.
You mean a young girl?
Yeah, or a young girl, too, for that matter. Anyway, during the speech on Saturday, Biden apologized for giving the impression he was praising segregationists during early remarks on working with segregationist senators. I think I said it's senators to begin with, and I think that might have been more right than senators. But anyway, segregationist senators, and said that he is sorry for any pain or misconception. I was wrong a few weeks ago to somehow give the impression to people that I was praising those men who I successfully opposed time and again.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness. But you worked with them, too?
Why couldn't
that was the whole point of his story about the segregationists. He worked with them.
Why do you apologize for someone else's misconception? That's their fault. That's their problem. That's the left.
Here's Michelle Obama. She is. This is what her comments were about Biden's praise for segregation. Yeah, that was it.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was waiting for a sound clip.
That dead air. That was it. She was asked on Saturday about that. Of course, she was at the Essence Festival in New Orleans, hanging out with the likes of Al Sharpton and company. The reporter asked what she thought of the recent dust-up between Biden and Kamala Harris because of the segregationist comments. And Michelle said, quote, I've been doing this rodeo far too long. No comment. That was it.
Wow.
We won't even talk about him. Biden he has come out as the third Democrat, only the third, to speak out against Antifa and the Andy Ngo attack. Former Vice President Joe Biden's 2020 campaign finally condemned Antifa's brutal assault on journalist Andy Ngo in Portland last week. Ngo, an editor at Quillette, was repeatedly punched and kicked by Antifa members while reporting live from a rally organized by the radical group. The group attacked Ngo. The group attack landed him in the hospital with a brain bleed. And so the Biden campaign has come out against it. I'm trying to look and find who the other two. Oh, yeah. Eric Swalwell was one of them that came out with a explanation, or not an explanation, but a denunciation. And let's see, who's the other one? I can't find. Oh, Andrew Yang. Yes. Well, that would make sense. Yeah, Mr. Ngo is also, not only is he gay, but he's also Asian. And so Andrew Yang jumped in there. He said journalists should be safe to report on a protest without being targeted. Well, that's true. Nobody, but that's three people. Joe Biden, Eric Swalwell, and Andrew Yang are the only 3 Democrats that have come out against Antifa's attack on the journalist.
And yet, Wang wants to give them $1,000 each.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, he's got the money, I guess.
Oh, Antifa.
Yeah. Good stuff. Let's see, real quick. Billionaire Tom Steyer is ready to enter the crowded 2020 presidential race. Talked about this with Big Time AJ last hour, but various media outlets are speculating that the progressive left-wing billionaire and all-time lover of climate change, Tom Steyer, is ready to go public with a bid for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. He reportedly held a private conference last week to inform potential supporters he was planning to run, according to Politico. And so there you go. He's 62 years old. He's a billionaire. And he is really, we've got to save him. We've got to save the world. If we don't, we've got to stop doing what we're doing and save the world.
These guys think they're going to buy the next election.
I guess.
That's what it's all about.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, I guess on July 4th that he did this? Representative Justin Amash, who used to be a Republican, the only Republican who's been calling for Trump's impeachment, and he doesn't even know why. And he's decided to turn independent.
So he declared his independence.
He declared his independence on the July 4th holiday. And one of the reasons that he's doing this is so I think he can get on the ballot in Michigan, because he's going to have a primary challenger. And some of the early polling that you hear about, he was losing. So maybe if he thinks if he can get on the ballot as a third-party candidate, an independent, then he might have a chance with his name recognition to get back to Congress. But we'll see. But that's what he has. He says he will not rule out now he's also saying he won't run. Easy for me to talk this morning. Amash says he won't rule out a run for the presidency.
What? Yeah, no one's going to vote for that.
What?
Douchebag.
Both parties hate him. I mean, he was a Republican to begin with, and now he's an independent. So the Republicans hate him too, and he called for Trump to be impeached. So I don't think, But Jake Tapper wanted to know if he'd run for president. All right, let's go to the phones. Joe in Plainview. Hey, Joe.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, sir. How are you doing?
I didn't see the Trump speech, but I understand they burned the flag.
There was a group there that did during the parade party. They didn't.
It was a communist group.
Yeah, it was a communist group that was there.
Well, I think I got the correct punishment. Put them up against the wall and make them squat halfway.
The old military punishment.
Well, the bad thing is the Supreme Court says you can do that. It's under First Amendment. So I don't like it. I don't think CJ likes it, but you do have to admit that it's just right now anyway. It's the law of the land that will allow that to happen.
I don't like it, but I'll protect their right to do it.
The U.S. soccer team, they're dropping the flag all over the field after
trampling on it.
Yeah, while they're too busy dancing around. Because there's one thing we learned from the U.S. women's soccer team. Thank you, Joe, for the call. We got to run break, but is they're really patriotic. They love them some USA, don't they? And they really know how to rub it in people's faces. Their celebrations were the talk of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
866-895-6442. Back in a moment.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin. Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I?
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear. Prepare your family at ready.gov/fire drill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Welcome back into Logic Nation. From the Ed Laughlin Attorney at Law Studios here in Temple. 84 degrees now outside and sunshine. 866-895-6442 is our number. David Hodges, C.J. Grisham with you. So the Democrats have pretty much come out for stuff that the American people really don't want for the most part, from late-term abortion on. Here's our guy from Texas, Julian Castro.
Julian Castro.
Yes, the Hispanic who doesn't speak Spanish, and then we have the non-Hispanic that kind of speaks Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Beto.
Well, you've got the black guy from New Jersey and the white
than
Mexican
either
from
one
El
of them.
Paso.
Yeah.
Both speak better, yeah.
Well, here is Castro. He refuses to name any restriction on abortion, and including late term.
Senator Warren indicated last night that she doesn't believe in any restrictions on abortion. Do you support any limits on late-term abortions?
I believe that a woman should make that choice. And, I also said last night, I've said before, that I support repealing the Hyde Amendment, because I believe in not only reproductive freedom, but reproductive justice.
But on late-term abortions, do you believe in any limits?
I believe
to
that
those?
a woman should make that choice.
But on late-term abortions,
I believe that a woman should make that choice, yeah.
Yeah, so he stands up for late-term abortion. Of course he does. So here's what the Democrats stand for at this moment. Open borders, health care for illegal aliens, and calling the American flag and historical versions of the American flag racist. And he did that as well this weekend. Julian Julian Castro compared to the Betsy Ross flag to painful Confederate symbols. I mean, really? And you know, the other guy that did it too was, of course, Robert Francis O'Rourke came right there. Beto, the fake Hispanic, came right behind and said, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
There's your Me Too moment.
Yeah, never mind the Democrats and all these outlets on television were talking about the Nike Betsy Ross flag shoes, and they denounced the Betsy Ross flag. Forgot to mention that the Revolutionary Warrior flag was prominently on display at Barack Obama's second inauguration. If you're watching on YouTube, there's the picture. It's on both ends. It just makes you wonder.
I don't wonder anymore. I've gotten to the point where
their hypocrisy knows no bounds.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, and Nike had already got the shoes made. There are boxes of these shoes out there.
Well, they're going for like $2,000 each now.
Oh yeah, on the internet
because they've been pulled. Yep.
Yeah, because there's not many of them out there, and I don't know what they're going to do with them. They're going to take them to the third world country that they were made in, and give them back to and let kids wear them, or something. It's a thought. Kamala Harris announces a $100 billion plan for black home ownership, not white ownership, not Hispanic ownership, not Jamaican ownership, not Indian ownership, which that's the two things she is Jamaican and Indian. No, it's only for black ownership. It couldn't be for all Americans. $100 billion is to tackle the racial wealth gap, according to Kamala Harris. This is not a woman that wants to take away all your guns and make sure that all abortion laws aren't passed by the state. They can be passed by the state, but then they must be run through the federal government to get their stamp of approval. She's a peach. She was at the Essence Global Black Economic Forum. Is why, if you're wondering why it was a $100 billion plan for black homeownership, it's called pandering with a capital P. Democratic field is ready for the big shrink, they think. They think that by Thanksgiving, it should be winnowed down a little bit. Mike McCauley, a South Carolina-based Democratic strategist who worked with Obama and John Kerry's presidential campaigns, I haven't seen anything to cause me to reconsider that things by Thanksgiving will be workable. Not all the candidates will drop out, but it will be workable. And if anyone hanging on through the Iowa outside the top six, we're talking about a cabinet tryout or just sheer vanity, according to him. Now, Eric Swalwell has a press conference at 1:30 today, and CJ highly suspects that he is going to bow out of the race. We'll see, though. On Sunday, they were reporting that Eric Swalwell said if he wasn't in contention come December, that he'd abandon the White House dreams and seek re-election to the House. But I think it's going to be today. It's not December yet, but I think it's going to be today, don't you? That Swalwell's out?
It's supposed to be at 1:30. We're going to know at 1:30 what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, the Bloombergs and the Mad Mommies aren't going to be happy if Swalwell drops out because he's their gun control candidate.
Yeah. Yes.
It just goes to show you when you run on taking people's guns away, don't be surprised when you score an asterisk. Not even a 0%, but an asterisk.
Yeah, but there's plenty of Democrats that like to have their guns too. They don't even factor that in because the people up in Washington, the people in Los Angeles, and places like that, New York, they don't carry guns, and so they don't even think about that. They don't think about anybody that might be even on their side that might want to carry a gun. But again, open borders, health care for illegal aliens, gun control, the Green New Deal, and now calling the American flag racist. Lovely. A Detroit festival charged white people $20 and black people $10, and then they got hit with backlash. The Afrofuturist group in Detroit was having their Afrofuture Fest, and on their early bird tickets on their site, if you were black, you could buy them for $10. If you were not a person of color, $20. The tolerant, unracial left. They did
racist people.
They did change the policy. That was the first. That's where they started 866-895-6446.
Need to sell your house? Most agents will put a sign in the ground, post it, and pray. My name is Ryan Smith of the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team and Keller Williams Realty. My business is based on getting top dollar for my clients. I believe in that so much that I will put my money where my mouth is. I will sell your house in 90 days or less, guaranteed, or I'll sell it for free. I've developed an exclusive marketing system proven to get you up to 18% more money. If you want to know how I do it, I'll send you a copy of my marketing plan for free. 254-213-5335. Using my system, I recently sold a house for Brandon and Cassidy in Temple's Wyndham Hill subdivision at the top of the market. My system gets full price offers, multiple offers, and bidding wars. That means you make the most money. Don't take chances with your equity. No obligation, no commitments. You're not happy? I'll let you out of the program. There's literally no reason not to call. 254-213-5335. That's 254-213-5335. We are the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team. Call us today and start packing tomorrow.
At Logic Nation, our power is in our callers. In fact, Pat's on the phone. Pat, welcome to Logic Nation. What's on your mind today?
I get that you're the Logic Nation, but what about love, peace, and harmony, man? Why don't you ever talk about these issues?
We try to keep our listeners informed about local issues that matter to them, both locally here in the great state of Texas and in our nation.
You talk an awful lot about freedom and constitutional rights, but what about my right to express my emotions like love, peace, and harmony? What about my right to not be offended by what you're saying?
Well, Pat, you've gotten off the Logic train, and now you're boarding the Emotional Express. That's a high-speed rail to nowhere. Here at Logic Nation, irrational emotional instability has no place in logical discussion.
But I need constant reassurance that my emotional stability will be coddled and my opinions force-fed to me.
Listen to Logic Nation Monday through Friday from 8 to 11 a.m., right before Rush, right here on KTEM, where logic is never derailed by emotion.
Has your perfect candidate been eliminated from a political race? Have your values and conceits been put upon and bruised? Well, don't fret over hashtag dumps or I'll never whatevers. It's time for you to try Voter Agra. Yes, Voter Agra takes your deep depression from your candidate losing and makes your vote rise like a phoenix from the ashes of defeat. Voter Agra makes you turn down griping and moaning and lets you enjoy the old-time thrill of voting. So lose your sullenness and get your voter suddenness back with huge results. Voter Agra. Isn't it time you tried Voter Agra and got back into the political game again? Voter Agra. Available now at IHateAllCandidates.com and I'm right and everyone else is wrong.com. Voter Agra. Welcome back to Logic Nation. The story of choice of the mainstream media today is Jeffrey Epstein. He's been arrested. Is it Epstein or Epstein? I can't remember.
Who knows?
Yeah, anyway.
We're white gringos. We can say either way.
Yeah. But Jeffrey Epstein has been arrested in New York for alleged sex trafficking of minors. Now, I'd forgotten about Jeffrey Epstein. He's a billionaire, and he's already been charged with underage young girls, and he apparently has a problem. He's, like I say, he's a multi-billionaire, and they have unlocked, they unsealed the accounts of him, and now he is accused of paying girls as young as 14 for sex, according to the unsealed indictment this morning. Federal prosecutors in New York unsealed the criminal indictment this morning, charging billionaire Jeffrey Epstein with having operated a sex trafficking ring in which he sexually abused dozens of underage girls, allegations that have circulated around the political connected businessman for years.
And the New York Times is just now reporting that investigators have seized nude photos of underage girls from the Manhattan townhouse of Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty sick.
So they got that done. And of course, but that's a billionaire running a human trafficking ring. That's small potatoes. You know why? Because Jeffrey Epstein used to be a member of the club at Mar-a-Lago, and he has eaten dinner with Trump many times. They got him now. They've got Trump now.
But he's also eating dinner with the Clintons.
Oh, yeah. He used to fly Bill Clinton over to what it was scuttlebutt. I don't know if it was ever proven, but supposedly he had this place that the nickname was Lolita Island. Lolita standing for a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And he and Clinton would fly over to Lolita Island from time to time, which made you wonder, knowing Bill's background. So
how many of those young girls were interns?
I don't know. I do know this. He was he actually got kicked out of Mar-a-Lago because he was he apparently he recruited a 15-year-old girl while she worked as a locker room attendant at Trump's resort that Epstein used to frequent. And so he got sent away once they found out that he was messing with a 15-year-old.
That's not gonna make the liberals happy.
Mm-mm.
No, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Donald Trump should never have allowed him, not kicked him out.
That's right. So anyway, in light of Jeffrey Epstein's reported Saturday night arrest on charges of sex trafficking, a quote from Donald Trump praising the billionaire's fondness for young women has come up. He said, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. He's a terrific guy, has a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." And so that quote, they got him now. Impeach! Impeach! Never mind, he was a private citizen at the time he said that. Anyway, let's see. Epstein is already a convicted sex offender, having allegedly molested dozens of underage girls in Florida before signing a 2008 secret plea agreement that allowed him to avoid federal prosecution at the time. Boy, our law enforcement does us a great job sometimes, don't they? Our courts system, sometimes it's, a regular Joe does that with one underage girl.
Mm-hmm.
He goes away for a long,
You said regular Joe, as in Biden?
I don't think Biden's sexual. I think he's just a gropey guy. I hope. I don't know. Who knows? He's scrap metal Joe. Let's see. All right. Trump, though, on the other hand, even as the mainstream media just salivates over the fact that he knew Epstein. Never mind the fact that Epstein was close to the Clintons. There's no doubt about that. That's a true story. I have but the Lolita Island thing rings true to me. But I can't say that for a fact. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. But as far as this, the Clintons were close to him too. But you'll never hear that. I mean, you'll hear it on conservative social media and talk radio. But that's it. That's the only place you're going to hear it because they're not going to say anything about that. Oh, but he knew Trump. Meanwhile, Trump's reached a career-high approval rating. Donald Trump reached the highest job approval rating of his career in the latest ABC News Washington Post poll. And let's see, he's up to 44% approve of Trump's overall job performance. That's up slight 5% points from April, the last time they did this. So, again, he continues to gain ground. Now, the ABC poll also has him losing to nearly every one of these dadgum Democrats that are running. But with an approval rating like that that's going up, and an economy that's going up, and the show he put on July 4th.
Can we just do this next year? Can we just have this election already?
Yeah, let's just do it in November. Besides that, Trump needs to reclaim some of his time that was lost during the Mueller investigation. Back to wrap things up in just a moment on Logic Nation.
Here's the way most people think of work zones on Texas highways.
I drive all over the state, and work zones are everywhere. They really slow me down.
Oh, they make me crazy. I have to drop my speed from 65 to 55 to 45. Can't they just finish already?
I depend on my cruise control, but every time I come into a work zone, I've got to turn it off and on and off and back on again. It's frustrating.
And those frustrations are understandable. But if people thought about it realistically, they might say things like this.
I'm slowing down and being extra careful because I don't want to cause a crash or get hurt or kill somebody.
Oh, sure, it's a pain right now, but when they're finished, we're going to have the best roads in the country.
Work zone ahead. Fines double. I'm slowing down.
Last year, more than 15,000 crashes occurred in Texas work zones, and more than 100 people lost their lives. So when you enter a work zone, slow down, pay extra attention, and stay away from that cell phone. Be safe. Drive smart. This message brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
In the forest near the side of the road.
No need for alarm, sir. The forest is where bears live.
But this was no ordinary bear.
No ordinary bear?
Yeah, 1 second I'm having a smoke taken in the view. Next thing I know, I am face to face with Smokey Bear.
Let me guess, Smokey had a tip for you.
He did. He must have seen me toss my cigarette on the ground. He told me never to do that because it only takes one spark to start a wildfire.
He's a smart bear. Did you know that 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans? That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
That's what Smokey said. I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous, and you're not.
Good point.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Psst. Yeah, you. It's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active. But lately you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Back to the last segment of Logic Nation. Lesson of all be on the way shortly.
I'm a hard-working
Lieutenant Colonel Alan West has come out and announced that he's considering seeking the chairmanship of the Republican Party of Texas. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I like Alan West, but I also like James Dickey, and I'm involved in several Texas conservative activist kind of back channels where we talk about a lot of things, especially within the Republican Party. And I am a delegate for the Republican Party of Texas. I really like James Dickey. I really like Alan West. And what I've done is I've tried to reach out to both of them to come on the show to talk, but I've also liked to talk to both of them. And I might have a bad idea of what the role of the Republican Party of Texas chairman is. I know that their role is to push Republican values and all that, but I am concerned whether it's to protect Republicans or protect Republican values. And I would have just liked to have seen James Dickey, who, again, he's a friend. He's an actual friend, not just somebody I know. I just would have liked him to be a little more forceful and calling out our Republican representatives for failing us on our priorities.
I would like the Republican committee here in Texas to have actually done. They did come out with a statement after the session was over with, saying this is, you missed this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. Dan Patrick, this is why we're mad. But of course Dan doesn't see any of that. He didn't. He was the day he was saying that I don't understand why everybody's mad. It was a great session. It was a great session. Okay, maybe it was. Maybe the wine was chilled nicely and the cheese was nicely cut up, or the brie or whatever. But the point is, if they'd have done something while the session was going on, they might have changed a few minds.
Well, and not only that, and my problem with Alan West now is when James Dickey got elected, Alan West was supportive of Cindy Ash, who was not as conservative of a nominee for the chairmanship.
Right.
So it's very difficult for me. I have some questions for both. I've reached out to both of them, and it just may be that my standards are too high for what I expect a Republican chairman to do.
Yep, since they don't have a vote in the legislature.
Right.
So, Lieutenant West, he's got a book out called "Hold Texas, Hold the Nation: Victory or Death."
Mm-hmm. I have that book.
Oh,
I haven't
really?
read it yet, but I've got it.
West is also going to venture throughout the state and meet with fellow Texans prior to the 2020 Texas Republican Convention. So we'll see. It's interesting to me. Like I say, I like Allen West, of course, but it would be interesting to see if he could light a fire under some of these people, or maybe not. I don't know. Once you're elected, it's hard to light a fire under any of them.
This also just came out on Twitter from the Babylon Bee. I guess now that the Supreme Court session is over, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has been encased in carbonite until the next session. So she'll be thawed out just in time
Just in
for
time? Yeah. That makes sense. Here's how crazy the left has become. Well, it's
liberals. That was satire, by the way.
Yes, that was the Babylon Bee is a fake news site, like CNN. Except Babylon Bee is a lot more funny than CNN.
Yes.
The country music group Confederate Railroad. When I was in country music, I played a lot of Confederate Railroad.
I love the Confederate Railroad.
They were big.
Yes.
At the time that I was as big as I was in country music, and they were supposed to play at a state fair in Illinois next month. And what's their name? Confederate Railroad.
Uh-oh.
Banned. Not going to do it. They told them, nope, we're going to have to cancel your appearance. Because somebody in Illinois caught on to the fact that they're Confederate.
Oh, I thought it was railroad they were offended by, because people hate getting railroaded.
No, well, in Illinois, at least in Chicago, the L train's perfect. I loved it. That is the only public transportation I've ever seen that worked as well as that one does. The L train there in north side of Chicago. But no, the Confederate Railroad has been banned from this. The booking agent for Confederate Railroad didn't immediately respond to the request for comment on the report, but the tour schedule still included the state fair over the weekend, but Confederate Railroad's been taken off the signs. So I guess that tells you all you need to know there. Confederate Railroad can't go to Illinois. Unbelievable. A bear. Been saving this all morning. Got to do it. We've got just enough time for it. A bear got into somebody's car in Colorado. Boulder County Sheriff's Office says that this bear got into the car, or broke into the car, and got down in the car and accidentally put it in neutral. It was on top of a hill there in Colorado, and the bear went on a ride until he smashed into a tree. Now, there's a picture of the car right now.
Car didn't do so well.
The bear walked off and left the scene.
Did they charge the bear?
They should have.
Leaving the scene of a crime?
And stealing a car. See you tomorrow. God bless America. God bless President Trump.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.